Hello friends and welcome back to Bookmas. Today we are doing one of my favorite videos of the entire year and I am going to be talking about my 2026 TBR. How is it possible that I am setting my 2026 TBR when I literally feel like I filmed the one from 2025 yesterday? But before I jump into the 2026 list, I actually wanted to take a second to talk about the 2025 TBR that I set, how I'm doing on it at this point in the year, and then of course we can move on to the actual point of this video. But I figured if I never address my TBR from last year, it's just not gonna happen and I need accountability. I'm just gonna go over a little bit, and these are the 15 books that I wanted to read in 2025. When I was setting this list, I tried to pick a lot of different books from different authors, genres, get a few that are out of my comfort zone, all of that kind of thing, and I'm gonna try to bring that into this year as well. And out of the 15 books that I put on my list, so far, I am filming this a little bit early, all right? So far at this point, I have read 12 out of the 15 books. However, one of these books I did decide to DNF and unhaul, so that puts us at 13 books. So at this point in the year, I have 2 books left. Those books are Reckless by Lauren Roberts and Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. And if all goes according to plan, I will be filming a reading vlog later in Bookmas where I try to finish the TBR. So that is a little bit of a spoiler, but I have every single intention of reading every single book on this list. And that is the case for 2026 too. I want to read every single one of these books. And I also did it in 2024. I read every single book that I put on my 2024 TBR. So we're keeping this up. Okay, I'm coming back to center now. The last thing that I wanted to address before jumping into my 2026 TBR is you might have noticed that last year I set a list of 15 books. And this year I'm actually only setting a list of 10 books. There's a few reasons that I decided to bring down that number just a little bit, but the main one is I feel like choosing 10 books that I want to read next year feels so much more intentional than choosing 15 or 20 or 26. Just for me, I feel like once I pick a number of books that high, I kind of get lost in what I really do want to read, what goals I really do want to accomplish. And so this year, I kind of reached a point with certain books where I was like, I'm not really interested in this book anymore. So I'm hoping that by choosing 10 books, I'm going to pick some books that I'm like the most excited about, or the ones I really want to try out and test, and then know if I actually like those kinds of books or not. Basically, intentionality. And that's why I'm bringing the number down to 10 this year. And if I don't like it, I'll just bring it back up to 15 next year. Okay, that was a lot of chatting and yapping. Let's talk about the actual 2026 TBR. I am so nervous, but so excited. The first book that I'm putting on this list has been on my radar for a while. And that book is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I know. I'm afraid, guys. These books are so thick. They're urban fantasy, which I haven't read a ton of. Sometimes I like urban fantasy, sometimes I don't. Really just depends. And I've heard that they are actually a little bit more difficult to understand compared to Sarah J. Maas's other series. But this year I did read the entire Throne of Glass series and I absolutely loved it. And now I'm like, okay, I'm almost through the Massiverse, which is what I think people call it. And the last thing that I need to do is read the Crescent City series to be like a full-formed Sarah J. Maas fan. I'm just a little nervous and a little intimidated by it because of how thick these books are. That ended up being my issue with Throne of Glass too, is I would get nervous to pick them up because I'm like, it's gonna take me a whole month to read this book and then my wrap up will be like one book. Book number 1, Crescent City. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Book number 2 is the next book in the Beartown series by Friedrich Bachmann. At this point in the year, I have only read the first Beartown book. These are fiction books about a small town that's like far in the north. It's dark, it's cold, and the small town is obsessed with ice hockey. It's like the one thing that brings everybody joy. It's one of those books where you're really invested in the characters and you feel so emotionally connected to them. It's like the best way to say it. And I read the first book at peak summertime and I was like, I think I'd like this more in the wintertime. And so now I want to read the second book in the series. There is a chance that I will read book 2 before the year ends. I'm going to go on a whim and say a low chance, but there is a chance nonetheless. And so depending on where I get to in the series, my official 2026 TBR is just the next Bear Town. So like if I read book 2 this year, then my 2026 list will be book 3. But like for now, we're going with book number 2 because you guys saw my December TBR video. Like I kind of know what I want to read, but you never know. You never know. This year I have significantly less new releases on my list. And I don't know if it's because there's not as many new releases that I'm excited about for 2026, or if it's just the fact that my favorite authors, a lot of them haven't announced their book coming out in 2026. Like last year I had Ashley Poston, Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry. Like I had a lot of my favorite people on this list, but a lot of them have not announced their 2026 books yet. However, the one author who I am truly obsessed with that has announced her 2026 release in romance is Abby Jimenez, and that book is The Night We Met. This is the second book in her most recent trilogy, I think it's going to be, that she's been working on. The first book is Say You'll Remember Me, and I liked this book, but I did not like it nearly as much as the rest of Abby's books that I've read from her. But that doesn't change the fact that I absolutely love her as an author. I say this every time, and I feel like it's what she's known for, but she writes rom-coms with emotional depth, and I feel like that's kind of hard to find. Like I'm laughing and I'm crying, and then I'm laughing and then I'm crying again. And there's something about those books that just bring me unparalleled amounts of joy. I love her books so much. All that to say, I am so excited for this book. She's always a 5-star potential possibility for me. Love her. And I also just love interconnected standalones. Like I'm really excited to see the characters from the first book pop up in this book, because it's like, I think we're following the group of guy friends in the first book. So look at like a different guy, I think. Number 4 is a book that I have heard nothing but good things about, and that is The Favorites by Lynn Fargo. I've heard The Favorites subtly compared to Magnolia Parks in the sense that there is some kind of toxic romance and toxic relationship that takes place in this book. I don't know how toxic, so take that with a grain of salt, but I do know that the 2 main characters in this book are professional ice skaters, and I think that sounds really fascinating. I also think that this would be a great book to pick up at the beginning of 2026 in the winter time, or maybe also at the very end of 2026, TBD. It kind of depends on what I get to and what the TBR wheel chooses every single month. But some of my closest friends in my real life, and then also a lot of creators that I watch, have read this book and absolutely loved it. And one thing about me is I love complicated characters, layered situations, anything like that I love. And so everything that I'm like hearing about this book makes me think that I'm going to love it. Number 5 is Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and this is a duology by V.E. Schwab that I have never read, and I often feel like I'm a fake V.E. Schwab fan because I've read like half of her books, and I'm like, no, if I'm as diehard as I say that I am, I need to read all of V.E. Schwab's books, because I have never rated a book of hers lower than 4.5, which is so rare, so rare. I'm very picky when it comes to my ratings for books. And so I'm like, okay, if I love all of her books as much as it seems that I do, I need to read some of her other work. And Vicious, the reason I haven't picked up these 2 books is because it has something to do with 2 guys that are friends, 2 boys, 2 guys, I don't know how old they are, and they get superpowers. They like learn that you can get superpowers from a near-death experience. And so they get themselves in a near-death experience and develop superpowers, but I think they kind of, I don't know if one of them's like for good and one of them uses them for evil or something like that, but that's kind of the premise that I've heard. And superpowers and like that stuff, weirdly in a book, it doesn't interest me. I love superhero like movies, but in a book, it like doesn't grab my attention, but I love Schwab. So I'm like, all right, enough said. If it's written by Schwab, I want to read it. Number 6 is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli, I think is how you say her last name. I'm not 100% sure on that. And this one is a fantasy. I've been in a huge fantasy mood this year, towards the end of this year, honestly. I know that this book, it's a duology, and the first one is about a witch and a witch Hunter, which definitely intrigues me. It's kind of giving Powerless by Lauren Roberts, if you've read that series. I didn't love those books, honestly, but I've heard amazing things about Heartless Hunter. I love a good romantasy, and particularly a good action-packed romantasy, and this is supposedly what that is. And yeah, I've been like sticking Heartless Hunter into a lot of my TBR wheels towards the end of the year, but it's never gotten chosen. And this book is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm like, oh, eventually, surely I will get to that duology. So if you guys have read that, let me know. I know a lot of people like it, but I haven't actually heard a ton of thorough reviews for it. So I would love to hear if you guys have read those books. So far on this list, I've included fiction, fantasy, and romance, and I am a girl who likes to read many genres, and so I had to include a sci-fi book on this list, and this year I have decided to include Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I have read Andy Weir before. I read The Martian years and years and years ago. It is one of my favorite books, and quite honestly, I know for fact that I'm going to love Project Hail Mary. I've heard the book is fantastic, the audiobook is fantastic, and tell me why I haven't picked it up yet. I do feel like I am the kind of person where I kind of read the books that are in front of me. So if I go to the thrift store or if I go to half price books, I rarely go and buy like new books full price from like a Barnes. I love a good Barnes, but I don't go that often because I just like know I can get a book for a better price. And so a lot of books that I read are the ones that I just come across. This one has not made its way into my hands. And so as I make this list, I always think of which books am I willing to go out of my way to buy no matter what. And this book has reached that point. I'm like, no matter what, if I can't find it at half price, if I can't find it at the thrift store, I'm going out and I'm buying it. So I'm really excited for Project Hail Mary. I don't know the plot literally at all. I think someone gets stuck in space. It's got to be similar concept to The Martian, except maybe they're not stuck on Mars. They're stuck on a spaceship, ? I'm excited. I'm sure I'm gonna love it. Number 8 is another one that plot-wise, I don't know a single thing about it, and that is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. I'm gonna be so for real. I have heard a few of my favorite book creators talk about this book and how much they enjoyed it. I think this is one that has a bit of genre bending involved. I think it's got some mystery, some fiction, maybe some romance in there. And I've learned over the years that I really, really love books that do genre bending, like tasteful genre bending, if that makes sense. There's definitely a situation where you can have too much going on and it starts to feel like the author didn't do anything super well. But I do feel like there are circumstances where genre bending is absolutely incredible and makes me feel like I've never read anything like it before. And this kind of sounds like it falls in that category. Again, don't know a single thing about the plot. All I know is that I trust the book girlies and they're telling me that I should read this book, and therefore I will be reading it in 2026. So far, I have not owned a single book on this list, and that is because my physical TBR is dwindling down. But the last 2 books I do actually own and wanted to talk about at the end of this video. And the next one, a new genre unlocked again, that is Shatter Me by Tahera Mafi. This series is so popular. It's years and years old. My sister read these. She loved these. I want to know. I want to know if I like them. They might be too YA for me, and I just decide that I missed the boat with these, but like maybe not, maybe it'll turn out that I read this and I absolutely love it. I don't know, but I do want to just give it a chance. All I know is that the main character in this book, her name's Juliet, her touch is lethal. And so if she touches things or people, they die, and she gets like taken and used as some kind of weapon. And that really intrigues me. That concept really intrigues me. And the writing style seems really interesting too. Like there's lines that are very intentionally crossed out. Like you can see what was written there before. I'll show you the first page. Like you can see things are intentionally crossed out, and I've never seen that before. Also love that this is like YA. We have some like thicker, more intense books on this list. I think it would also be good for me if I had some easier ones to get through, and Shatter Me definitely falls in that category. Okay, the 10th and final book. Are you guys ready for this? I think a lot of you are going to be really happy because I've had people begging me to read this book for quite a while, and I'm the one that said, no, I don't think I'm going to like it, but you guys do, and so I'm doing this for you guys. Book number 10 on the 2026 TBR is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Now, I'm gonna say this now. I know that a lot of people really love this book. I just personally am not a huge YA fan. I like YA romances. I like YA fantasies. I don't love YA romances. And so where I stand on this book, unsure, but I do know that there are some more adult topics in here. Like I know grief is a big part of this book, or maybe not big, but it is a part of this book. And I feel like there is a chance that it might just have enough emotional depth for me to not be bothered by the fact that this is a YA romance. This one's for you guys. I also personally do want to read it. I want to know what I think about it. But more than anything, I'm doing this for the besties because I made a video on TikTok or booktube. I don't remember. I made a video somewhere talking about books I'm planning on never reading. Y'all came at me for this one. So you know what? I take it back. I'm giving it a chance and I will let you guys know at the end of the year, or probably earlier in the year, what I think about this. Okay, those are all 10 books that I have decided to put on my 2026 TBR. Please let me know down below some books that you guys are hoping to read in 2026, or also maybe which books I should start with first, because I honestly have no idea where to start. I'm still thinking about finishing my 2025 TBR, so tackling this TBR has like barely crossed my mind. And of course, if you guys made it all the way to this point in the video, comment down below a Christmas tree emoji so I know who the real ones are. I hope you guys are having a great day and a great reading month, and I will see you in the next Bookmas video in 2 days. I love you guys. Bye.